Now, our audience have some burning questions for Prince Edward. So I think it's about time that we put him in the hot seat. Now, Your Royal Highness, I'm sure that you've endured some tough questions in your time, but forget that, because this could be the sternest grilling you've ever faced. Are you ready?
Right. Yes, I think I'm ready.
Now, Narindu, you've got an audience with a prince. Take it away.
Yes, sir. What was the most important thing you learned about yourself during your award?
Great question.
Probably that actually, if I stuck with it, I'd probably achieve it. Which sounds a bit trite, but actually, I mean, I think that the award is all about that. It's actually being able to stick with it. There are lots of times you think, do I really want to do this? Or you know, and bits take quite a long time, but it is. It's just, I think that's the one thing that brings out of everybody who does the award. You actually have to stick with it, and you learn about yourself just simply because you think, no, I'm not going to let this. I am going to get there. And of course, when you get there, it's a great feeling. But yeah.
That is wonderful. You know, the most important thing I learned is that you definitely need to pay attention when reading the map, because our group started the day by going in a completely one direction, and then we added an hour to our journey, and you can imagine we were the best of friends by the end of the day. Selena, what would you like to ask?
If you got lost on an adventure, what would be the three things you would want to have with you?
It's weird. You only really need one thing, and that's a means of communication.
True.
If you've got a telephone or a radio and you can communicate with the outside world, then frankly, you're probably not lost. So, because you can always call it, and it all goes horribly wrong when you're not allowed to communicate with the outside world, or there's no signal, and that's when the problems occur. So it's you can think of all sorts of other things, but actually that is one thing I think, which is, if you had a choice of anything, that's the thing I'd take with me.
Yeah, you know what? I'm already thinking now, carrier pigeon, all right? Communication and company. You know, efficient.
It is, and if all else fails, you can eat it as well.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Three things in one. We've got it. Amazing. Ichen, you're up.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you, Your Royal Highness. So my question is, why do you think the award is such an important part of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh's legacy?
I mean, there's an awful lot of his legacy. I think probably because the award has had such an impact on so many young people's lives. And of course, and it's been going for such a long time that there are just simply millions of people who's had their lives changed. And I think that was what was... I think that was what was really touching about all the tributes and all the memories that have come in, is that actually so many people felt moved to express how much the award meant to them, and therefore and that connection with my father, because if it hadn't been for him, they wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have had those memories. They wouldn't have had that moment. We wouldn't all be sitting here together. We wouldn't all be talking together if it wasn't for my father. So, yes, I think that's why it's probably the greatest legacy, because it's just spread to so many parts of the world and impacted so many people's lives. The breadth and the diversity, listening to people talking from every faith, every background, every ethnic, I mean, it didn't really matter. But this is a common experience that everybody's had, and I think that's really important.
Absolutely. And I think all of us here are really proud to be part of that legacy. If you've done your gold, bronze, silver, whatever it is, you're part of that legacy. That's an amazing thing. Okay, Gabby, it is your turn. What would you like to ask?
Your Royal Highness, why do you think the award is so impactful for young people?
Well, listen, just listening to all the things that you've done, it's all had an impact on your life. I think it's the very fact that we get to choose what it is that we want to do, that we can shape our lives, we can take control of our lives. But I think that along the way, lots of people learn things about themselves and things about life and have actually changed course as a result. You know, and some of those stories of that change of direction because they've just felt inspired by what they've been introduced with through the award. I think that's. And listen, if you've all been through an expedition of some form or other, it's had an impact on your life. You know, you're never going to forget that, are you? I mean, that adventure when you get out there, you know, that you're always going to remember that. I mean, all the other experiences are all part of it, but we never forget. I don't know anybody who's forgotten doing their expedition.
I mean,
that adventurous journey, that going out there, and it's that's the impact it has, and those live with you for the rest of your lives.
I mean, I'll never forget that goat. I promise you
Yeah.
that. It does stick with you. And whether it's been a difficult journey or an easy one, the pride is always the same when you complete it as well. Now, last but not least, Makumbi, what is your question?
Your Royal Highness, I wanted to ask what advice you would give to someone that wanted to give up on the award.
Oh, well, now that's quite interesting. Well, obviously don't, but because it rather spoils the point of the exercise, doesn't it? Really? No, it's quite interesting. If you think about all the reasons why somebody would probably give up, which is that actually two activities happen on the same time, so I can't really make up my mind which I'm going to do, or actually I've become rather more interested in boys, or rather more interested in girls, and I'll give it up, or just. If you think of all the reasons why people don't do it, and you turn around and say, okay, so that's what you're going to be remembered for, or I got lost on the expedition, on my bronze expedition, and I don't fancy doing the next one. And when you point all those things out, you go, well, is that what you want to be? Is that what you want to be? Is that how you want to live your life? And actually, everybody go, if faced with it, they go, no. And so it's trying to think of, okay, actually, what is it that I really want to achieve? I'm not going to get knocked down by this because something else has come in the way, actually, because that's life, isn't it? So I've actually got to try and take control of this. I've got to do this myself. And if you don't actually get to the end, you don't understand the satisfaction you get from doing it. And it's that satisfaction, we all know that. We've all been there. That satisfaction at the end, that sense of achievement, and it doesn't matter what you do from now on in life, you'll always have that. So that's why I say just go with it. And apart from else, it should be fun. The moment it stops becoming fun, think of something else to do. So find another activity because it's supposed to be fun. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, adapt.
Yeah.
Solid advice there. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you guys as well for your questions. That was a good work. You gave him a real grilling.
Very much. Yeah, absolutely.
Proud of you all. Now I think, though, it's time we let Prince Edward go and have a lie down and recover from that ferocious grilling. Sir, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Brilliant, Reece. Well, thanks very much for doing for this, and thanks, guys, for all those questions, and good luck with your awards. Brilliant.